Hi, I'm Andy Walker, and this is Lab Rats, and this is
Sean Carruthers.
He's my co-host, and I'm his co-host. And yes, it's another edition of your favorite tech podcast, where we show you how tech is really simple, and sometimes we make you laugh, sometimes we make you cry, and sometimes we complain about Apple technology.
Or Windows technology.
Or Windows technology, like today!
Yes, it's a full episode of Windows Vista, ladies and gentlemen.
I know. Now, I have to say, I have to come clean on something, Sean.
What's that, Andy?
Now, you know I wrote the book, Windows Vista Help Desk, which will be out in the end of August.
Yes.
And I spent a year with this operating system.
Yes.
And I got to tell you, I do like it, but oh my God, it drives me crazy.
Yes.
There are some bugs in this operating system that make me want to hammer my head on the desk.
Like I have done occasionally.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that. So
yes.
It ain't perfect. Honestly, it ain't perfect. And that's why I wrote the book.
To be fair, that's to be expected with any new operating system that's just fresh, especially one like Vista that is not only new, but completely devoid of all the old code. It's written from the ground up, right. In theory anyways. So there's a lot of stuff that they've done that's gonna, the bugs are gonna pop up and it's gonna drive you crazy. So
to that end, today we're gonna show you how to deal with software on Windows Vista. Mm-hmm. Software can be a real challenge to install on this operating system. Mm-hmm. At times under certain conditions. So we're going to show you some troubleshooting tips, troubleshooting software on Windows Vista today on Lab Rats. Yes.
So why don't we roll a commercial and come right back with us?
Let's do it.
Awesome.
This is a pair of sneakers. They're worn and comfy. This is a Jack Russell Terrier. It likes shoes. This is Camtasia Studio 4. It can edit your screencasts. Now answer our trivia question. What screencast editor can be left unsupervised and doesn't smell like feet? I'll be back at the end of the show with the answer.
So Windows Vista, as we mentioned at the beginning, it's written from the ground up.
Yes.
So as with any operating system that's been written from the ground up, you're going to have little software bugaboos, especially if you have a bunch of legacy code.
And especially if it's made by a company called Microsoft. No, really.
Wait a second. Did you just badmouth Microsoft instead of Apple?
Hey, I badmouth them badly, both themselves.
Bad mouth. Okay, no. So
yes.
Let's get onto this. So you have Microsoft writing bad operating systems, and you've got old software that you want to run on this thing. We want to fix it up.
Right. So back in the day, Windows XP, fine operating system that it was with the bugs that it did have,
yes,
was extremely insecure. Right. Lots of viruses, lots of spyware, lots of all kinds of nasties on that operating system.
In fact, some people wrote books about that.
Who, by chance?
Oh, some guys. Anyways.
Anyway, so Microsoft decided to invent the next operating system, Windows Vista, with security in mind, really to try to stop the flow of viruses and spyware and that sort of thing. So they did, right? So Vista is actually much more secure than Windows XP was.
Definitely.
But it comes at a cost, and that is that they had to make sure that software, when it installs on the system, is supposed to install it, and it doesn't install by itself quietly in the background, which is what viruses and spyware were doing.
Right.
Viruses and spyware, of course, are software programs.
Yes.
So they built all this infrastructure in to not allow, slippery little software to install it all by itself. So it causes a lot of problems. So if you try to install any software from the Windows XP days onto your Vista system, chances are it's going to complain loudly, which is a bad thing.
Yeah, or it may run, but not run properly.
Most of the time, it's going to be a great big pain in the bum. If it was designed for XP, it's not going to run properly on Vista unless there's a patch designed to make it work well on Vista. So,
right, and this was the case too when they introduced XP. Stuff from Windows 2000 or Windows 98 would not run necessarily 100% of the way it used to run on the previous operating system.
That's very true. I mean, that's consistent. I mean, I guess Apple has the same issue between operating systems, correct?
Right, yeah, so when Apple finally introduced OS X, then OS 9 would run in a compatibility mode, but it wouldn't run properly under OS X because one was based on Apple, one was based on Linux.
So this isn't unique to Microsoft.
Yeah.
However, Microsoft had a bit of a crappy job at integrating software into the system. But I'm going to show you today, we're going to show you today, some issues that can help you get around that and how to sort of avoid software nightmares on Windows Vista.
This is good because a lot of people are going to be running old software. You know, my mom, for example, she has a lot of games that she used to play, like card games, Yahtzee, things like that, that she just loved playing on her old Windows system. Just under Vista, doesn't work.
So the way that Microsoft gets around this is they have something called a compatibility mode. So you can actually tell software to install in a manner which looks to, Vista will kind of pretend to be Windows 98 or will pretend to be Windows XP if you put it in this mode when you run it and install it. So I'm going to show you how to get to that. We're going to right-click here on an installer. Let's see, let's go to the iView program here. This is actually Irfan View. I'm going to right-click on it, and I'm going to say, I'm going to go down to Properties here. And we're going to wait for a little screen to pop up here. There's a tab, there's a new tab here. Actually, I think it was probably around on XP as well.
It was on XP as well.
Called Compatibility.
Right, so if you just clicked on it, it would run as a Windows Vista program.
Right.
But when you go into compatibility mode,
what you can do is you can set it to emulate or run as a particular version of a previous version of Windows.
Right, because if you're running it as an XP program on Vista, you'll have a bunch of little flaky issues potentially.
Absolutely. So it's helpful to know, first of all, what version of the operating system the software you're installing was designed for. So, for example, if it was designed for Windows XP, then you what you would do is you click here, run this program in compatibility mode 4, and you pull down the screen here. Now I've pre-selected Windows XP Service Pack 2, meaning Windows XP with the Service Pack that upgraded its security features.
Right, but you don't have to run with that, obviously.
No, I could tell it to run like a Windows 95 application or a Windows 98 ME application, NT 2000, and of course the Windows Server 2003 with a Service Pack installed.
So if you had programs sitting around for like the last 10 years, basically, with Windows 95, you can still run them on Windows Vista.
You can. Now, that said, it doesn't always work. Right? It will do its best, and sometimes you'll actually get it to run. If it's a particularly, a funky little piece of software, and it was kind of a little funky on the operating system it was designed for in the first place, it won't necessarily work.
Yeah, because I guess in some cases these programs are not only expecting the operating system itself, but some of the hardware that was around at that point, and some of the hardware that you've got in these new machines that is, so say you have a 95 program, Windows 95, it was expecting some hardware that was around at that time, and now you've got completely different architecture on the system, and they'll say that and say, I don't know what to do with that.
So, in my experience, it works about 50% of the time, 50%.
Well, that's still better than not being able to run at all.
Absolutely. And you would do this once the program is installed, and we'll talk about installation in a minute. Now, what you can do is you can either right-click on the icon, which is a shortcut to running the program, or you can go and locate the executable file and right-click on that and say Run as Compatibility. Both will work equally.
Right, so if you're installing the program, you right-click on the installer, install it in Windows 95 or Windows 2000 mode, and then once it's installed... No? Okay,
so
good information.
So I'm going to talk about installation in a minute. Once you get it installed on the system and it's not running properly, then you would go to your shortcut for the program, or you would go and locate the .exe file that executes the program from the shortcut, and you right-click on that and put it in compatibility mode at that point.
Okay.
Now, speaking of installation, this can also be an issue because, of course, the installers, especially if it's from an older version of Windows, the installer is not going to like or understand, user account control, which is the security defense. It may try to install in folders that it's not supposed to install and based on Vista and that sort of thing. So one way to get around that is, again, you get the executable file. So I'm going to choose here, this is an executable file which installs the program. And I'm going to right-click on it, and I'm going to say, I'm going to look for this command here, Run as Administrator.
So
now,
yes, in the past, when you were running Windows 95, 98, 2000, you were essentially always running as administrator.
Right. Now, what's quirky about this, so I'm logged in right now as an administrator. If I run this, it for some reason doesn't run as administrator. It's a very strange, weird Vista issue. But if you right-click and say Run as Administrator, it will actually overcome those UAC issues. And I'm not sure why Microsoft did that, because if you're logged in as an administrator on this, it should just run as an administrator by default, but it doesn't. So what was going on in your heads there, Microsoft?
Well, one of the security issues, one of the reasons I put this in there is one of the security issues with Windows in the past is if you're always running as administrator, any viruses that try to execute while you're running as administrator, have full access over your system. So
Correct.
one of the ways they do that is set us all to limited users now, and then if you want to change anything major, you would run as administrator.
Well, ideally, yeah, but I'm logged in as an administrator, so you
Yes.
think the software would install properly. But so just to review that again, log in as an administrator to install any piece of software. But if you have problems with the installation, right-click on the executable to install it and say run as administrator again.
Right.
And it will often get you through an ornery install. So there you go. That's sort of the ins and outs. Now, a couple more things about installing software. First of all, if you are going to install a program on Vista and it's an older version, you know, if it's XP, see if your provider or the company that publishes the software has a patch for Vista. Maybe they have a 0.1 upgrade. So if you're running version 5, there may be 5.1, which is the Vista version, and it may be available for free. You may be able to download that separately and upgrade. So you know, Roxio did that. I know that Nero did that. They offered sort of the Vista upgrade for free. So check the publisher's website and see if you can download the patch for Vista if you have an XP version.
Yeah, and if you're having troubles installing the old XP version, sometimes you need to apply the patch first that will get it prepared for Vista install, and then you install it.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
And finally, I would say don't follow those instructions when it comes to security software. Do not install a piece of like an antivirus program that's designed for XP or anti-spyware designed for XP. It won't work. It just simply won't work. Norton, the XP version for Norton, for McAfee, none of them work very well at all. So I would say go get yourself a Vista version of those products. That said, so all that aside, that's legacy software.
Right.
Moving forward, a lot of companies are going to be developing Vista versions of their software for people, for PC users. And I want to show you one little application that I came across recently. Our sponsor, TechSmith, has released a product called Jing, J-I-N, Jing, at jingproject.com. So what's cool about the way that Vista deals with software now is that because of this new user interface, Arrow, right, 3D and that sort of thing, you can do some really cool things with softwares. And I'm going to show you this. If you go all the way up here, you see this up here? This little bubble? This is actually Jing, and it's installed. And what Jing does is actually allows you to capture stuff on your screen. So I can actually click on that, and what I can do is actually do a screen capture of...
So you're capturing what's going on inside that little box
Right,
now.
exactly. Or, even better, what I could do is I could do video. I'm gonna see if I can install something here. I'm gonna record the screen, and then I'm gonna start this. Oh, I click on allow. And what you're gonna see is it's actually capturing in video that area of the screen, which is kind of cool. And then what happens is it will then upload it to their website. Called screencast.com, and it'll send you, and you get a URL that you can actually send to a friend and say, hey, check this out, here's a capture of some video, here's a screen capture I did, and it's free. Jingproject.com.
Okay.
So but can you see sort of the new UI and all the kind of new features? It's very cool. So that's one of the things that Vista does really well, is it offers a whole new toolbox for software developers to develop very cool new interfaces for third-party software.
Right, so basically all of these things are coming with the new versions of the software, providing that the companies that are writing the software take advantage of that, but you can still run your old software with a few tweaks.
With a few tweaks.
Okay.
So there you go. That's software on Windows Vista and how to troubleshoot. And I did actually write an entire chapter on my new book, Windows Vista Help Desk, which will be available in August 2007. Okay, should we take a break for a commercial?
Didn't we just have the commercial right now?
No, it's just a little plug for my stuff. Come on, give me a break.
Plug. All right.
All right. Actually, don't we need a cat for this?
We do. So we'll be right back with a cat.
There we go. I got the cat. Now you may want to ask, why do we have a cat in this commercial?
Why do we have a cat?
Well, first read the ad, and I'll tell you in a minute.
Okay, I suspect that I'm not going to be happy at the end of this. If you want to make an impact online, GoDaddy.com has what you need. .com names as low as $1.99. How do you like that?
It's very good.
Plus, world-class hosting, fast and easy website builders, and much more.
Right. Plus, as a viewer of Lab Rats, enter code BOO, B-O-O. BOO, see?
Wait, hold on.
When you check out, and you save an additional 10% on any order. That's true.
I thought you were working on this.
I'm working on a Sean coupon. So far, it hasn't worked. Poor Boo. Okay, you can go out of here. But I will, I promise. I'm talking to GoDaddy. I'm trying to get them to generate a little Sean coupon for you. You're feeling all left out, aren't you?
Andy, Biff, and Boo.
Yeah. If you enter in any of those codes, 10% off the GoDaddy stuff.
I don't like where this is going.
Don't forget, some restrictions apply, and you'll see their site for details. And get your piece of the internet at GoDaddy.com. I love those commercials. I love those commercials. I love those commercials.
Yeah, they're super.
GoDaddy.com.
Enter the codes. It helps even if you don't enter my name.
All right.
All right.
Pictures. Picture time.
We've got
Picture time. Picture time.
All right.
Hey, Biffer.
It's a beastly edition.
Biff is watching.
Yeah, Biff is watching. So is Joe's cat, who is on a MacBook, it looks like. Looking at Dig, not Lab Rats, but there we go. We also have Alan, our viewer Alan's dogs.
And Alan's feet.
And Alan's feet. I hope those are Alan's feet. At least, you know, Joe didn't provide any part of his anatomy, even safe parts like his feet.
Yeah.
But it looks like we have here Dusty, Sassy, and Jack, and hopefully Alan's feet. So, thank you.
Very cool.
Both of you. So,
Those are cute dogs.
those are cute dogs. Definitely.
Keep the pictures coming. If you want your picture on your feet, for example, and your dogs on our show.
It looks like you were just scratching for some fleas there.
And I was. Don't forget to email us at feedback@labrats.tv.
And send pictures of you.
Yes.
We want to see you, too.
Not just your feet.
Not just your feet, not just your dogs, not just your cats.
No. And finally, what else? Oh! Check it out. It's my DVD. Getting Started with Windows Vista. Getting Started with Windows Vista. You can get it at gettingStartedVideo.com. Really, it's really good. Okay, well, I guess Sean's gone, so maybe I should just plug fest here. Cyberwalker.com. Buy my t-shirts.
Wrap it up.
Okay.
Cut.
All right, well, that's it for us. My name is Andy Walker.
I'm Sean Carruthers.
And thanks for downloading. We'll see you next time.
Are you ready? Try this at home.
Earlier in the show, we asked you what screencast editor can be left unsupervised and doesn't smell like feet. Is it A, a pair of sneakers, B, a Jack Russell Terrier, or C, Camtasia Studio 4? The answer is Camtasia Studio 4. Learn more at labrats.techsmith.com.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to bring us back this time.
All right.
Because I never reintroduce us after the break.
Okay. All right. You go.
When are you ready?
Anytime.
Anytime?
Yeah.
That's Gary getting beer. We'll wait until he's done. Are you done, Gary?
Hey, where's mine? Oh, good man. Bring the opener. If you're going to make podcasts, you need a really, really talented beer fetcher.
Someone who realizes that you need the opener. And here's
Thanks, my friend.
yeah, Sean's guide to beer.
Yes.
If it twists off, avoid it.
Avoid it.
If you need an opener,
Yes.
it's classy stuff.
Oh, hey, mess on my house. Just.
Cheers.
Happy Lab Rats.